Welcome back to the Sports Source. This segment brought to you by Madisonville Marine, Skeeter Bass Boats, Suncatcher, and Godfrey Aqua Patio Pontoons, Hurricane Deck Boats, G3 John Boats, and Sportsman Series. No one in East Tennessee carries a wider variety of boat brands and models than Madisonville Marine. They can get their hands on them for you. You just got to get down there and see them and get your name on the list, folks. Since 1976, there is no better place to buy a boat than Madisonville Marine. All right, back with Jimmy, Josh, David, and Chuck. LSU finally got a letter of allegations from the NCAA this week. It targeted both their football and basketball programs. Will Wade axed before the NCAA tournament even begins. We all sat there and wondered how he's survived all this time. They got the letter, and he's gone. My question to you is, Tennessee fans and some of us in the media have been saying, NCAA's not as bad as they were. They're toothless. What do you got to worry about? Tennessee's going to be fine. Does the way LSU reacted to this suggest maybe the NCAA isn't as toothless as we all thought?
Well, of course, it was LSU that fired him, right? Not the NCAA.
That's true.
However,
but you would think that getting the letter would.
Yeah, and there was only one thing in that letter that I saw, only one allegation that I saw that we didn't already know. But here's my deal with that. The NCAA is so unpredictable, I don't know how to read it. I don't think Tennessee fans or Tennessee should sit back and say, hey, we're going to be fine, or, oh, look at LSU. I just don't think there's any way to predict what the NCAA is going to do, how they're going to handle this. So I wouldn't feel comfortable either way if I'm in Tennessee.
Yeah, there's people at LSU that are preparing for a multi-year postseason ban. Whether or not that happens, we'll see. There were definitely people at Tennessee in compliance that said that were warning Tennessee, don't go to a no postseason bowl ban at all. They elected to do that because they felt confident. But Tennessee's case this whole time is we got rid of all the people that were doing all this.
LSU
Granted,
said,
how they got to that
years we're keeping it.
Yeah, how they got to that point is whatever. But okay, so that's been their whole thing is we don't want to punish people that weren't involved in this because everybody that was involved is gone. We'll see. I mean,
it hasn't always worked for schools.
I'm with Jimmy. The NCAA does not operate like the legal system in that they work around established precedents. It's totally wild. And I do think the one major mistake Tennessee has made in all this is cooperation does not pay
Exactly.
off.
That's what I have.
What
was the level of cooperation at LSU? And it was none,
yeah, Tennessee
right?
has been like the most cooperative as possible. The NCAA has been sitting in on all these interviews. Cooperation does not help you.
Missouri was incredibly cooperative.
Yes, same
and they
thing.
got bombed.
It does not help you.
So the NCAA, as Jimmy's pointed out, it has so much turnover on the enforcement part. Correct. It's committees. It's this. Then that's like every 6 months, every year, whatever it is. Here's a whole new group coming in to investigate this, and at LSU saying, we're not helping you.
Cooperating with the NCAA can help you save a $12.6 million buyout, though. I can say that.
So far.
Josh, your thoughts? Does this worry you in any way? I mean, you could look at this and say that LSU got the letter and went, let's get rid of him now because we've been waiting. Or you could look at it and say, now we can whack you and not have to give you a buyout because all we needed was the allegations and we got it. Get out of here. Which way are you looking at it?
Yeah, I mean, it might help you with that. That's my guess is that it will help LSU financially, but that doesn't mean from a competition standpoint, which at the end of the day, how much do fans really care about whether the school saves money or not? They want to make sure that they save themselves from big-time trouble. So, yeah, I think part of the fear is that you never know with the NCAA. But I think over the last 2 or 3 years, I think fans, because it took so long, assumed, well, the NCAA is not doing anything to LSU. There's been all this FBI talk. Hey, how come nothing came out of this? And it was just that it was taking a long time for something to come out of it. So, that's the other part is what if we're having this conversation a year from now? We're still saying.
I would be surprised if we're not, to be honest with you, based on their track record.
Exactly.
And you're having all the turnover. Nobody knows what the NCAA is going to be. You've got the working group that Greg Sankey and the others are trying to lead this thing that's going to come out. They're supposed to have a proposal in August. Okay, well, that won't be approved in August. They'll debate that, fight that. So not only do you have the regular delays, you're not quite sure what the system is even going to be when you get to the end of this.
Yeah, I think with the firing, I mean, they amended his contract last year, a couple of years ago, or at some point in this, that basically if there were level 1 violations, you can fire him without cause. But his buyout was only like $3 million.
3.1.
Yeah, so it's not like a crazy amount of money, but yeah, I mean, it's probably not an encouraging sign for Tennessee, but I don't know that it's a major deal in terms of how this plays out.
Buyouts in basketball are so small. That's why I would have fired him initially. Why have you kept him? What you've done is you've saved yourself very little money, and you've angered possibly the NCAA. Now we don't. We
And
know
all
the
your conference, everyone in the
Yeah.
conference has not been happy about that.
Good point. Jimmy, go ahead.
There's an independent group that is supposed to also handle some of these investigations. And in the case of LSU, they were supposed to expedite it. It actually slowed it down.
Yeah, and they created a
slowed it
new
down.
group
Right.
just to look at these.
Exactly. I mean, that's,
We need to
wasn't this
assemble
an
a group to
FBI
look at all these
wiretap? What is an FBI wiretap? What, 2017?
Yeah.
Correct. And then it was released like 3 years and almost a couple of days ago that everything kind of got public.
Well, this is the same sting operation that got Chuck Person in Auburn. He's been in jail for a while. I believe isn't he still in federal penitentiary?
I think so, yeah.
So he's been in jail while Will Wade's still out there coaching ball.
But his intramural team's really good in jail.
You're a cold
They run
man,
some tight
John.
stuff.
You got to get out of here, but you tell me. Tennessee cut down the nets today?
I think they do. Not overly confident, but I think they do. I think they'll take care of business. Yeah.
With their history going back 43 years, I'm leery to say, yeah, they got this.
I thought they cut them down against Mississippi State a few years ago, and that didn't happen.
I did too.
But
All
I'm
right.
taking Tennessee.
Jimmy, thanks.
Thank you.
We'll bring Isaiah Victor back out here next. We're going to show you best and worst case scenarios for Tennessee's bracket according to our little system. We're also going to make our predictions, Tennessee versus Texas A&M, and we're going to make our predictions as to what seed Tennessee will get. All that next on the Sports Source. Come on back.